your latest on everything Metro Tunnel. If you're new here, 5 stations under the city, it's a whole new train line. Like always, I've got some CBD construction news for you, the latest on testing, and I've got some station secrets that you might not know. Let's get straight into it. We're going to hit the ground running with Town Hall. If you've walked past City Square recently, at that southern end of Swanston Street, you would have seen a whole heap of new greenery has popped up at the station site. And that marks the next step in that space being in use once more. Granted, with a brand new station entrance attached to it. It's been closed since 2017, and the team had to start by digging out the old car park that was there before they could start mining out the space for the station itself. It was a big hole for a while, then it had a big shed on top, and now the station entrance is there and all those final finishes have started to be put in place. If you're interested to know what goes into all of those design decisions around landscaping and the station entrances themselves, we did an interview with our architects a few years ago that kind of runs through all of those things and gives you a bit of a sneak peek in some of the iterations that City Square was in as part of the design process and how we eventually landed on what you're seeing now. Along with the planting, they've been installing the First Nations artwork that will be housed in the square. It's a ceremonial smoking dish that's designed by Auntie Joy Murphy. It's in this small alcove and it's surrounded by all of this beautiful tile work along the ground. Under City Square, a lot of the work that's happening is mostly just fitting out these final little bits and pieces and details. Probably the more dramatic change this month is over on the other side of the station, under that station entrance behind Young and Jackson's. If you'll remember, this is the underground area where Town Hall connects to Flinders Street Station. It's looking much more polished down here. All of those customer service areas and the ticket barriers look great. This is the first part of Town Hall that you would see if you were heading here from Flinders Street Station. This space has a lot of paths leading in, out, into other stations, up to street level. So I just want to pause for a second and I will help you navigate around this space because it's been cleaned up enough that I can actually show you where you can go. I'm going to freeze frame here. Don't worry about the robot dog. We'll talk about that in a second. So those escalators in the background are what leads you down to the Town Hall platforms. You take one escalator, you get to this small landing area, and then that is basically on the platform. Just out of frame on the right are escalators that lead you up to that station entrance behind Young and Jackson's. And on the left, just out of frame, is the connection to Flinders Street Station. You've got it? Good, because now we can talk about the robot dog. Its name is Astro, and it's basically a mobile monitoring device for a whole bunch of different things. The idea is that it can get into confined areas that people couldn't normally get into. It had its test run, or its test walk through Town Hall earlier this month. Onto State Library now. I'll get it out of the way early. No animals, robot or otherwise, were at the station this month, at least to my understanding. Station staff are in the control rooms now and they're getting ready to run some of those simulations that we were running at Anzac earlier this year. The Franklin Street entrance is looking pretty much finished and Franklin Street itself is now back open. Okay, enough about the 2 stations in the CBD. I would like to talk to you about Arden. It's the new station we've built in North Melbourne. It's not that far from the actual North Melbourne station. And over the last month or so has been the home of all of these massive tests that we've been running. Each had a few hundred people from all over the project. And basically the aim is to simulate some sort of emergency situation with hundreds of people and make sure that all of the systems and procedures are equipped to deal with that. The first one was kind of a fairly straightforward evacuation of the whole station. And then the other 3 involved a train going into the tunnel and in some way having to stop, and those hundreds of people having to evacuate that train, either back to a station or through the fire escapes that we have in the tunnel. That's what this pink and yellow structure that's next to the rail line in South Yarra is. These are some of the last big tests that we're running on the project, but they're absolutely essential in getting everything ready for opening. It's things like these massive simulations and those days of testing that we've been running up and down the Cranbourne Pakenham line and Sunbury line that are what we need to do before the project opens. You've probably seen some of the footage or pictures in this video and thought, well, all of that looks pretty much finished. Why can't I be on a train or why can't I be exploring those stations yet? However much testing you think a project like this would need, times it by 5, and you're probably still not quite there. It's a huge amount of work, and that's probably why you'll hear us keep talking about that in the lead up to opening. So Arden plays a key role in all of those sorts of activities too, but it's also been kind of an unsung hero throughout the whole project. It's where the first bit of tunnel was dug. It was the first station that we finished, and it's kind of been the hub for about 2 years of all of the train testing that we've been doing. And it's got a lot of very cool and interesting design features that I want to talk to you about. You probably noticed that the arch at the station entrance is on an angle. That's because it's meant to be a reference to skew arches, which you would see in a lot of European architecture, particularly bridges, and was used in situations where the road or rail was not perpendicular to the structure itself. At Arden, that skew is in line with the tunnels below. You can look at that angle and know that that's the angle that the metro tunnel is running at. Apart from just looking interesting, the arches themselves have kind of a secret walkie-talkie system built into them. At the base of all of those arch structures are little seats, and if you were to sit in one and your friend was to sit over the other side in that same arch, you could talk to each other. Think of it like a giant architectural version of that tin can and string science experiment that you would do when you were a kid. It's hard to fully grasp the scale of these stations just from a photo or a video. Fortunately, a few thousand people got to see Arden earlier this month, so I hope that everyone that got to explore the station had a fantastic time and got to experience a little bit of the metro tunnel before it opens. That's everything for this month. I hope that you leave this video with a healthy appreciation for Arden Station, and I will see you in the next one.